Collins College. Hello, welcome to Collins College live Instagram. We're going to do some Navajo fried bread with some refried beans and some California Pico. So let me start with the fried bread. Fried bread is really easy. I have 3 ingredients. I have flour, baking powder, and salt. I'm just going to throw in some water and we'll mix it. The key thing about fried bread is you don't want to overwork it, you don't want to overmix it. So once it comes together, we're pretty much good to go. Now, when I'm done and I bring it together and it looks, kind of like a soft texture, then I'll go ahead and cover it and let it rest. So, as far as like the recipes and things, we'll see it online a little bit later. I'm just trying to get this together into a dough. I have really warm water. It helps bringing it together. You want kind of a soft dough. It's really warm water. Okay, it's really coming together kind of quick. I don't want to overwork it. I'm going to get it to a little ball. And that's pretty much it. It's together. So once you see the bowl and there's nothing really as far as like soft ingredients there, your dough's pretty much good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this into a ball. Come back. Must be some fried bread. Don't anybody to escape. All right, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up. I'm gonna go ahead and cover it and let it sit here for about 10 minutes while I do the rest of the stuff. So I want to start with my Pico, and with the Pico, let's get this water out of the way. I picked things that I wanted to see fresh. So I was at Whole Foods and I saw some heirloom tomatoes, which I really like. So I'm gonna do some heirloom tomatoes. I have some cherry tomatoes that I cut already. They're really good, really sweet. Yeah, really sweet. And I have some roasted corn. So I just want a fresh Pico. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this really quick. Now when it comes to the size of your knife cuts, it really depends on what you want to do. Like some people make them really thick, some people make them really thin. It's your Pico, there's no rules. I really want some texture when I have my Indian fried taco. So I'm gonna keep it pretty much this kind of cut. And she's getting a little closer. I'll finish this off. So when it comes to Pico, you can go as hot as you want, as mild as you want. I have 1 Serrano, so I'm trying not to make it too hot. I want to be able to taste the bacon in the refried beans and the fried bread, so I'm not gonna go crazy with the heat. I want it nice and chunky, and that's pretty much, to me, chunky Pico, or chunky Pico. So I went ahead and do my onion. Get a different knife. When it comes to onion, again, we want to cut it 3 ways. We want to cut it through the onion, again, fingers on top. And then we want to cut on top of the onion. Let me get a shot of this. And then we want to cut down the onion. For the Pico, you can use as much onion as you want. I might stop right about there. To me, that's enough onion. I have some leftover onion. I'll go ahead and save that. And now I'm gonna do my chili. Again, this is a Serrano. We can add different depths of flavor if you want to go ahead and warm this up on the griddle or flat top, or put it directly on the flame if you have a gas grill or gas stove. You can go ahead and get some char marks and some color. I just want to keep it fresh, so I did not do that. And I have some cilantro, which I really, really like. Just give it a rough cut. Really don't want to make it too small because I like cilantro. I want people to see it. And that's pretty much it. So let me go ahead and get this into the bowl. So I have everything: tomatoes, I have some onion, I have some cilantro. And now I want to add some more stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and zest a lemon. And when it comes to zesting, some people will zest this way. I like to hold it and control it and see what I'm doing, because I really don't want any of the white pith. The white pith is pretty bitter, and I want to be able to control it. Sometimes when you flip it or go over this way, you get too much of the pith, or you have the opportunity or chance to get pith. And I want to just remove all doubt and not even do it. So to me, this is enough zest. Go ahead and cut it. I want to add some acid to this. Again, you can add as much lemon as you want. I like it really lemony. So I'm going to add it all. And then I want to add my cherry tomatoes. And that's pretty much it. So I'll put this over here. I have an avocado here. Clean my knife. And with the avocado, you can take it out of the skin, but I like to cut it in the skin. Just gives me a little bit more control. Just hold the avocado, go into the avocado, and make your dice. Just like so. If you want to scoop it out and do it, you totally can, but it's really easy to do this. You don't really have to go deep with a knife, unless you want to cut yourself. And then just get our spoon, and it comes right out, diced. Goes in. And that's pretty much it. Want to add my roasted corn. Save my cheese for later. Go ahead and give this a mix. Again, we're looking for freshness. And you can put, like I said, whatever you want. But I thought this would go good with the fry bread, avocado, and some acid to cut that bread and the frying. Want to add some salt. Get some pepper. And that's pretty much it. Simple pico. Boom. Now I'm going to start on my refried beans. Okay, refried beans. We can make some fresh pot beans. So if you want to go ahead and get your pinto beans, put them in a pot, 2 or 3 inches of water above the level of the pinto bean. Let it sit overnight. Once it sits overnight, we can cook it the next day. And depending on how many beans you did, 2-3 hours, you're gonna get something like this, okay? Nice liquid, brown, whole beans, fresh pinto beans, okay? Now I want to refry. So I have the heat on. Let me get my spatula. And I want to fry these. So I have some bacon fat. I want flavor from the bacon. I let this oil get really, really hot. And once it gets hot, I'll be able to incorporate the beans with it. and get some really nice flavor. So I don't want to get it to smoking, but once you put in your bacon fat, you could really totally smell the bacon. So once it's in there, get a little more hot. I'm gonna add my beans. You can hear it frying. That sound. My partner's in here going, woo. She has her nose wrinkling right now. Some nice bacon and beans. So we're gonna let this cook. Now we're gonna get it really, really hot, and as I'm turning and mixing in the bacon fat, I'm just gonna, once it starts to bubble, press the bean. And then we're gonna have some refried beans. Really, really nice. So let this go. And I wanna bring it back to the fry bread. I just want to do one, and I want to get my board with a little bit of flour. I'm just going to do a piece, but I want a decent size. So how about that? So I have my dough. It's still really, really warm from the hot water. This is going to be a giant one, but who cares? A little flour on top. I'm just going to roll it out. This is going to make a jumbo. I might have to cut this. This is really big. Gotta make sure it fits in my pan. That's it. I think this is good to go. Let's go back to the beans. As you can see, they're bubbling. So as they're bubbling, that water is starting to evaporate. We're really getting a strong bacon scent inside of here. Looks good. Let's get this going. I don't know if I have any questions, if you could see questions. That's pretty much it. Now, if you don't want to use pinto beans, if you want to use white beans or red beans, it's the same technique, same deal. Put them in water overnight, let them bloom, cook them in a couple hours, and we can, get flavor. So that's pretty much it. So let me go ahead and fry this. I want to give this one more roll out. I might have to cut this bad boy. With the extra dough, we can just add it to the next fried taco. Give it one more roll. That's it. So we're going to mash our beans. And as we mash them, it's going to get thicker and thicker and thicker. That's it. So I'll switch this out for the fry oil. Crank up the heat. All right, when it comes to frying, some things you gotta watch out for. So when we fry, we're shallow frying. So I have a pan and we're gonna add a product to it, and it's not gonna be totally submerged, it's gonna float on top of the oil. But how much oil do you put in the pan? When you do oil, it's very, very viscous. Once you apply heat to it, it's gonna expand. So you wanna pour the oil in less than halfway up to the pan. So you don't want it to overflow, because once you add the heat and the product, sometimes it'll bubble up and bubble over the pan. So it's very important when you pour your oil in, less than halfway up, and it doesn't matter what size pan you use. That's the first part. Second part, when it comes to frying, you want pretty much a steady temperature. To fry something like this, 330, 350 is fine. If you're doing chicken or fish, probably about 365. But the most important thing when you're frying is you don't want the temperature to drop inside the pan. So if I want to cook at 350, I'd probably get it to about 370, drop my product, lower the temperature, and it's going to be at that 350 where I want it. So too many things in the pan will drop temp. Since this is already a warm piece of dough, the temperature is not going to drop too much. We're totally going to be fine. But just want to talk about frying, since my 281 students are in here, that's the fry technique. Also, what I have here is a grate. So with a grate, the oil is going to drip below the grate, staying away from my product. A lot of times I see people, when they cook, they put it on paper towels. So if I were to transfer my fry bread to the paper towels, that's cool. It's going to absorb the oil, but it's also touching my product. So if I was frying some chicken or something like that, it has breading on it, and I let it sit on some paper towels, it's going to stick to the paper towel and tear off. So you want this grate. It's the better way to go. The next thing about frying, we're not going to do it because I'm making a fry taco, but if you're frying something else, once it comes out of the heat, you want to hit it with your seasoning so it adheres to your product. So if I fry some chicken, take it out, you want to hit it with some salt or some seasoning. If you wait too long, that seasoning is going to bounce off. It's not going to adhere. Terrible product. So just some things to think about when you're frying. So I can smell it and I can see some ripples. I think it's good to go. So I have my fry bread. Also, some people are telling me that I have to put a hole in the middle. So I'll listen to them because they make fry bread all the time. So when I add my product, I want to dip it in and I want to put it away from me. Okay? So if there's a splash, it splashes away from me. So we're going to go ahead and let this fry. So I'm going to clean this up while I wait for this thing to fry. As you can see, it's bubbling. Get some blooming. Everything looks good. Really, really hot. When I'm talking about bubbling, it says these bubbles right here. When your oil is super, super hot, that bubbling might go over. You don't want to do that. By shaking the pan, I'm just trying to put the oil over the bread. I'm too lazy to get a spoon to do that. I'll go ahead and flip it. Let it fry. This is really making me hungry. All right, cool. Let this cook. Give it one more flip. Now, as far as color, some places you go to, it'll be like a beige. Some places get really, really dark. Really depends on how old your oil is. This is fresh oil. If I keep on using my oil, if the color of oil is really, really dark, your product's going to get dark. So you really can never tell, or ordinarily you can't really tell, is the oil old, which you can taste it, or is it just been used and has a lot of color. So this oil is pretty fresh. So the more color I get, I'm really cooking this product to death. So check your oil color. With this, I want it crispy on the outside, but a little tender on the inside. And to me, this is good to go. Just a little bit more color. And that's it. And that's my fry bread. Flip it. Cool. So let's get my beans. Okay, my beans look good. Just want to make sure they're hot. And they totally are. Let's get this fried bread on the plate. Let's get our beans. A little splash, splash down, splash, splash. Let's get some of our Pico right on top. And this is so jumbo, it's my Navajo fried bread burrito instead of taco. Really, really nice. That right there is your refried beans, California Pico, and fried bread. Now I'm gonna make a total mess. And I'm gonna try and pick this bad boy up and take a bite. Holy cow, it's really, really hot. Woo! Hot, tasty, nice acid. Beans are really, really creamy. I forgot my queso fresco, so I'll take one more bite. So I'll make sure I get that extra. Queso fresco. And one more time. That's a damn good lunch. All right, fried bread, beans, Pico, try it. 281 Collins College. Peace. Take it easy.